Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here with a little bit of a discussion video because a lot of people seem skeptical about that whole ending with the whispers and Siddiq's speech, and I want to discuss it because it looks like episode 16 might have a traitor, according to the synopsis, which we're gonna get into. And that whole thing at the end was definitely weird. It was brand new, didn't happen in the comics. Alpha decided to tie up Siddiq and not kill him and make him tell everybody what happened. So we're going to discuss all this and talk about, what it could mean. So we saw at the end of episode 15 when the group came across the Pikes, Siddiq was tied up there and he was the one who showed him the Pikes. And at the end of the episode, he gave this speech talking about how Alpha whispered in his ear to tell everybody about, what she did and not to mess with them. So this whole thing is super weird. And a lot of people think Siddiq is gonna be like a traitor or something. Now I don't know if this information came from the Spoiling Dead fans or whatever. I don't really like looking at spoilers, but I just want to talk about this ending because it was definitely weird. Something that I did not expect. I don't get why Alpha would have to leave somebody alive to tell them that. Like, is putting like 10 people's heads on Pike not enough? You need to have somebody tell him that. Like, I don't get it. And on top of all that, she threatened Daryl. Remember, she took Daryl to that, herd of walkers and said, like, we can destroy, she was basically saying we can destroy you, with these herds of walkers. So I feel like leaving Siddiq alive to tell him that wasn't really necessary. I am hoping, however, that ending, like, I did like that end sequence though, like when everybody was fighting, I love that so much. Like, that was so cool, everybody's like final stand fighting against the whispers. That was so well done. And that could still be, possible. That could still happen, but it's just weird how, why would she leave Siddiq alive? But with that being said, before we talk more about this, let's go ahead and read the episode 16, the finale, its synopsis. Alright, so the synopsis reads: in the aftermath of an overwhelming loss, the communities must brave a ferocious blizzard. We already know that based on the trailers and stuff. As one group deals with an enemy from within, another is forced to make a life or death decision. So this seems a little bit weird because based on the promo, it looks like they're stuck in, on the outside. Even Michonne said in the promo that, this storm is making could make these roads impassable for a week. So I think just because of the synopsis, it kind of shows that the groups are going to get back to where they're going to go. So they're going to go back to Alexandria and the hilltop. Obviously, the kingdom is fallen, and we saw in the opening minutes. I made a video on that if you want to go check it out. But it does look like they're going to make it home successfully. Some of them are going to go to the kingdom, or some of them are going to go to the hilltop, and some are going to go to Alexandria. And I'm assuming the kingdomers, because since their community fell, I don't know if they're all going to go into one community, because I don't know if they can even fit in all one community. I'm sure they want to split to make it even and, for resources and stuff. So I feel like one of these communities are, like it says, one of them is going to have a life or death situation. The other is going to have a traitor. So if Siddiq is the traitor, like everybody for some reason thinks he is, that would make Alexandria the community to have, the enemy from within. And then the other is forced to make a life or death decision. I have no clue what that means. We've seen that a lot in the Walking Dead life or death decision, so that could mean anything. Like, what could the hilltop possibly be facing? Like, life or death decision as in, dealing with the storm or something, the whispers maybe. But that could mean a whole lot of stuff that we don't have time to get into. I mean, we do, but not for this video. We need to talk about Siddiq, because Siddiq, if he's the guy who is the traitor, I'm gonna be crushed, because he was the one who, his life, got saved because of Carl. Carl died saving him, and if he turns on the communities, it's gonna make no sense. And this makes me think that maybe, Siddiq gave up these people. Maybe Siddiq was helping Alpha in a way, if that makes sense. Like, maybe Siddiq was terrified or something, and he told Alpha, like, I'll help you get all these people or something. Maybe that's what he did, because he was scared and he didn't want to die. Maybe that's what it is. Like, maybe he doesn't have to be evil, because there's no way Siddiq is like straight up evil. He's been part of the community for, 8 years now, right? And he promised Carl that he's gonna fulfill his legacy and help the communities and stuff. But maybe when he's put in a situation like that, when Alpha is literally about to kill him, maybe he gives up and says, okay, Alpha, like, I'll do whatever you tell me, just please don't kill me. Like, maybe he was on the verge of begging her or something. That's why she tied him up and decided to, you know, make him tell everybody about it. Because there's no way Siddiq is like a straight up traitor. Like, I don't see that happening. But they're labeling him as an enemy in the synopsis. So that kind of makes me feel like, an enemy? Like, is Siddiq really an enemy, or did he just like screw up? Like, maybe he got scared and he surrendered or something. Because like, there's no reason why Alpha would leave him to tell everybody, right? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I think killing the people is enough. Like, you don't need to have somebody tell them. And she kind of told Daryl herself, didn't she? Like, told him not to mess with the community because they have that herd of walker that they could, you know, basically fuck any community over if they wanted to. Last night, actually, on the Talking Dead, somebody called in and asked, like, is Siddiq a traitor? Like, and I was so shocked because I was like, is somebody really asking that? And Avi Nash, the actor who plays Siddiq, he says no. And Scott Gimple also, like, he was joking around, but ultimately the answer was no. So I don't really think he's a traitor, but I do think something happened as, like, maybe he just screwed up. Like, maybe he was scared and he, like, surrendered himself to Alpha and promised something to Alpha, and, you know, that way he doesn't die. But man, an enemy is a strong word, you know. I don't know, man. I just don't think Siddiq is gonna be an enemy. So I feel like it's gonna be somebody else. Maybe Siddiq just says something that he messed up, and, you know, that's that. Like, it's end of conversation. Like, nobody's gonna really hate Siddiq for that. He was scared of dying, and, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't think it was single-handedly his fault that those people died. So there's no way he's the enemy. If they also did say that, you know, they're gonna allow Lydia to live in Alexandria. So if Alexandria, based on the synopsis, is a community that's gonna have an enemy from within, it could also be Lydia. But then again, you know, Lydia literally hates her mom, and we saw that in the end of last episode, and, you know, she looks to be fully invested in, you know, this new group now. So I don't think she's the enemy either. And the only person I can think of remaining in Alexandria that could potentially be an enemy is Negan. But he's tied up, he's locked up. There's no way. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, is somebody gonna let? I talked about this in my video. I talked about this synopsis a while back, and I said that maybe somebody lets out Negan or something because, you know, they need to go to war and they think Negan's a good leader or something. Maybe that's gonna be somebody who lets out Negan. But again, I don't think that's gonna happen because, like, they're saying enemy. Like, I feel like it's gonna be like something huge. Like, enemy is not a word you just throw out like there, you know. Enemy's like somebody like a Negan or an Alpha or a Beta. That's an enemy. But who knows? Maybe we got this whole thing wrong, and the Hilltop is a community with the enemy, and then Alexandria is a community going through the life or death situation. I want to get into life or death situation, but I feel like if I do get into it, it could just be like, it's going to be like full on speculating, because what does a life or death situation means? A lot of things could mean that, you know, and I think snow is, I think that's referring to the weather, because the weather they're dealing with right now is a life or death situation. Like we saw in the promo, the trailer we got for episode 16, like they're having a tough time navigating through that weather, and they have to stay in different places. So I think that's what it's referring to when it says that. I've seen a few theories say that, you know, Siddiq, that whole speech at the end, like I love that speech, so that's why I'm kind of maybe in denial, but I've seen a couple people say that whole speech could possibly be like BS, and, you know, he just made it all up and he's been truly evil the entire time. Like, how fucked up would that shit be? But I mean, just going off of Avi Nash's reaction, because when they asked him that question on The Talking Dead, he seemed genuinely shocked. Like, he was like, what? Like, why would I be a traitor? Yes, he's an actor. He could, you know, fake doing that. But I don't know. I just don't think, I just do not see Siddiq being a traitor. I don't think he's going to be a traitor. The worst case scenario is that maybe he was just put in a bad situation. He got nervous, he broke down, and he just kind of surrendered to Alpha. Even if he was making that speech up, I feel like it's not a speech you would make up, you know, to cover yourself being a bad person, because that speech, if anything, it's motivational. Like, because of that speech, everybody now is united. Like, they're gonna work together. I mean, we saw that. I mean, they were early on in the episode, they already agreed to working together, but that speech was a very motivational speech. I don't think he would make it up if he was a bad person. I also think it is possible, and like I said, guys, this is just a discussion video. I don't have the answers. I would love to have like an open discussion in the comments, like what you guys think could be happening. But going back to the Hilltop, I do think it is possible for maybe an enemy to rise from the Hilltop, because now that Tara's gone, who the hell is going to lead the Hilltop? Like, they are going to be very stuck. I think King Ezekiel would be a good option because the kingdom fell, so maybe he goes to the Hilltop and leads. But maybe there's going to be people who were upset that Tara died and some of their family and friends died, and now they have like no idea who to lead and what to do. And maybe that would arise, like that. maybe that would bring out like the true colors of somebody who, is really evil, maybe. And the last thing I'm gonna throw out there to live up this discussion is that an enemy from within doesn't even have to be a person. I mean, doesn't even have to be somebody who is part of the community. Maybe it's a whisperer who, again, like we saw how Alpha was pretending to be, like, you would consider Alpha to be an enemy from within at the fair, right? Like, the same thing could happen again. I don't know if they want to do that again though, but it doesn't have to be somebody who's an established character, part of the good communities. It could be somebody like a whisperer who infiltrated, one of the communities. But let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions. Do you think Siddiq is a traitor? Do you not think he's a traitor? And like, if not, who do you think is the traitor? So let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And for more Walking Dead content just like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.